I really need to understand about your viewpoint of practically a day in a life of a SOC analyst.
The main task of a SOC analyst is SOC monitoring or alert monitoring, we tell it.
When you got the first internship and that internship convert into job, what are the parameters you did there that the company was very happy and they convert that intern into the job?
By the time I joined that company, right, I had made sure that I am strong with the basics, and like I had worked a bit on my soft skills, because in cybersecurity it's not just about being
Technical skill.
technically good.
You need to be
You need to
SOC.
communicate your findings as well. You need to
Yeah.
communicate to the customers, especially in a SOC perspective.
Hey guys, welcome to the session on Coffee with Prabh. And today we have a special guest, my friend, Mr. Anand Menon. He's a security lead, he's SOC lead, and his expertise is more on the incident response and threat intel. And what I like about this person is Anand recently I got noticed when he started sharing his wisdom thoughts on security operations, how SOC works. He talk about a very small minor things which is missed by the pressures and all that, and he built a new way of hunting cyber threats and loves sharing those wisdom thoughts, um, intels informations on a LinkedIn. So hi Anand,
Hi,
Sugamano.
hi, Prab. Hi.
Hope I'm audible to you.
Yes, you're audible, bro. Yeah.
So Anand, it is really great honors for us to have you in this particular platform, and I'm sure when this podcast will be live on YouTube, I'm sure a lot of students will get a great insight from this podcast. And you don't know, Anand, when you're sharing your content, you're on the SOC and all that, you're creating an impact on the society. So that's why I thought, let me disturb you, let me ping you for this particular podcast. And thank you for taking out time. I know Sunday is always a family day, your personal day, but taking out the time to giving back to the community is amazing.
Not at all a problem, Prabh. Like, it's also a great opportunity for me, and I have also been following you right from the start of my career. And the infosec train videos, the content you guys create and all is absolutely interesting, and it has helped me in my career as well. So I also feel like giving back to the to our community and society is our main goal as we progress in our career. So it's a great opportunity for me as well.
Thanks, Ashay. And that motivate me to make more content and that motivate me to disturb you more again for the next podcast also. Hope you will be available for that.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
during this podcast, I will be your student. I will represent a student where, a lot of questions which student has in their mind, I'm going to ask you. And as a good student is the one who make notes. So I will going to make a notes, and that notes can be very useful, not for me, but also for the people who are looking for a content, and might be it's a good learning for me, something new I'm going to learn today.
Yeah, great. Look forward to that.
So Anand, my first question for you is, uh, you know what make you to come into cyber, and from where you got to know this cyber security, and how you learn cyber security.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, first of all, as I mentioned, thanks a lot for the opportunity, Prab. Yeah, coming to your question, how I came into cybersecurity. So, from my childhood itself, I have been a computer guy. So, I always loved to uh, like break into computers to know what is inside, or format the computers, fix the computers for my friends. All those things I used to love, and I wanted to be in some sort of job where I'm involved in with computers in some sort of way. Like in childhood, it's more of a software engineer thing, right? You don't know what a software engineer actually does. It's a
Hmm.
very broad term. But when I also joined in my college as well into computer science or information technology, which is again a computer related thing. But I was not very focused in what I need to pursue within IT. It was
Hmm.
just, as I mentioned, a broad term. So once out of college, I joined a firm wherein I was doing software implementation or ERP
Hmm.
implementation. We tell that it's like enterprise resource planning, and it is a part of IT. But actually, I got my opening into IT, but I was not very comfortable in that job. Like I was not very happy with that thing because it didn't serve to what to say, like further my curiosity in a way. It is according to each person, right? What motivates you or what makes you more curious. So it was not the, I felt I worked for around 2.5 years in that field. And over time, I felt that it is not entirely suited to my passion or motivation. So I felt that I should take a career break and just see what is more suiting me, what is suiting my interest, or what is motivating me. So I thought I should take a career break, and I actually took. So my project also got over by around 2.5 years into my role, and I took a career break. And actually, I it was a bit of a unconventional journey, if I tell it. I pursued civil services for some time because it
Oh,
was one of
wow.
my other motivations. Because I wanted to serve society in some way.
Hmm.
I wanted to help people. That was my main motivation, even within IT or outside IT. So I wanted to pursue civil services for some time, and I was not 100% sure if I can crack it or not. That is all part of how it unfolds, like how hard you try, and many things are also by luck.
Hmm.
I so I gave it a try anyway, because even there is an age barrier beyond which you can't try civil services. So after that 2.5 years of my stint in IT, I came to the civil service preparation, and I gave it two tries I have given for civil service. I could crack the prelims exam, but I couldn't crack the mains.
Hmm.
But actually, that particular around 3 years I prepared for civil service. That was a more of a exploration, self-exploration time period for me, because I could sort out what motivates me, and I also got better in my learning as well as my documentation capabilities. I Because in civil service you need to write down everything and learn it, and because it's a more of retaining things, there are a lot of things to learn. There is a lot of not only the core learning, but also soft skills you need to learn. There is a lot of stuff you need to be prepared yourself to become a civil service officer, right? So
Hmm.
you go into that mindset over a period of time, how you should behave as a civil service officer, how you should treat people. All these things will come to your mind when you are actually in a mode of a civil service preparation.
So, Anand, I'm
Yeah,
sorry I'm interrupting you
sure, no
here.
problem.
So, normally what happened is like, if you talk about my journey, I was very clear from the 10th standard, I want to get into cyber. And some folks today, if you talk about, they have the same mindset. They are very clear, okay, from the 10th onwards, they learn hacking and all that. So, it mean in your case, till college, once you complete the college also, you're not clear about you will be in cyber. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I had no clear idea. I
Hmm.
don't know why, but because it was again a broad term for me, IT. And cybersecurity was not a thing that times also. When I passed out of college, even in IT, it was more into development, the testing or the networking. All these things were quite fashionable or well known those days. But cybersecurity, I'm basically from Kerala. So in Kerala, cybersecurity opportunity wise, or the popularity wise, it was not a big option or
Hmm.
a career choice which people used to take those times.
Compared 10 years
So
back. But now I
yeah,
think
around
we
I
have more.
passed
Yeah.
out in 2014, so
Okay.
it is almost 10, 11 years back.
Hmm. Hmm.
Those times it was not at all a thing. So
Hmm.
naturally, it didn't cross my mind that I should try cybersecurity. Maybe if it was a thing, I would have, because it is actually what a curious person should pursue
Hmm.
in within IT. I mean,
Hmm.
IT itself is a great field, but cybersecurity, I mean, if you love computers, there is no best field as cybersecurity. But somehow it didn't cross my mind.
So, what was the turning point when you decided?
So yeah, in my preparation, right towards the end of my civil service preparation, I got a feeling like I'm missing IT like anything. I should enter this field back, because uh, I love this field. I realized it back. Like, but I thought that I'm not in the right job within IT. So then I started exploring what should I do within IT. What is that which makes you motivated to help people? Because always in my mind, right from my childhood, I wanted to be in a job where I help people.
Hmm.
So within IT, which is the best option which suited me? It was not that hacking stuff that I need to break or show in a platform that I got into this big company and like like expose these stuffs. Nothing like that. It was more
Hmm.
into a mindset of helping people. If I truly speak, So cybersecurity was booming that time, around 2019 end it was. So it was booming like anything. There were a lot of opportunities, both in Kerala or outside. Lot of new companies coming up. So and even the pay wise also, it's a great role as well as a domain. So I thought I will give it a try, but I was not completely sure as
Hmm.
if I would like it, because it is one thing to look from the outside and another thing to actually explore it within.
Hmm.
So I started some courses, online courses. I took up a Udemy course and tried it.
Hmm.
Then it became 3 course, 4 course, 5 course. Then I got completely into it and fully got absorbed into it. Like
Hmm.
I've understood that this is my field. This is
So
what I
first
love.
thing, first thing, what I observe in your discussion is that you have not did the direct you have not bet on a big cost investment in the training. You started with the low risk investments by exploring the videos on Udemy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly. I haven't
Very
paid
good
a
point.
single penny to any institute.
Very good point.
I am happy about that because I got fully into that learning mode. I told right as part of this civil service preparation and all, and I was ready to learn a lot. And I one thing which helped me or was in my advantage was that I was very active on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Right from the around the 2019 and when I started in cybersecurity.
Hmm.
So I got introduced to a lot of people, not only within India but outside as well.
Hmm.
In LinkedIn, a big conversation those times were the same thing. Like a lot of people are paying a lot and
Hmm.
then not given the right resources, something
Hmm.
which you can learn online for free. Many
Hmm.
institutes are giving it in a huge cost.
Hmm.
So that was a discussion which I got introduced to once
Hmm.
I got some contacts within LinkedIn,
Hmm.
and I got introduced to some groups, some group chats, all these things. And one of my the group chat which I shouldn't miss mentioning is Circle of Fire. It is one of LinkedIn
Circle
group
of
chats which we have. Circle of Fire. It's
circle of
called
fire.
Circle of Fire. Yes,
Wow. Okay.
that some of my friends and LinkedIn friends and some friends which I closely know, we created this together. But then that group expanded, and now we have members from all around the world.
Oh,
Those who
that's great.
love cybersecurity, those who are in cybersecurity. So
Hmm.
we share a lot of stuff. We have been in this journey together, right from the start.
Anand, here I want to interrupt here. I'm sorry for
Yeah,
that
sure.
because it
No
make me
problem.
more lot of questions. When you said about Udemy, what was the sequence of the videos you have seen? And when you started, okay, I will going to learn Udemy. So your mindset was, you already have knowledge about the computers or your knowledge about cyber, or you're exploring Udemy videos from zero. And what are
It
the
was
sequence
like,
of the videos you have watched?
yeah, so I have a basic understanding about computers, but that is nowhere near what exactly cybersecurity concepts are, right? For
Hmm.
example, simple things, CIA triad,
Hmm.
confidential integrity availability, or the
Hmm.
networking concepts like the three-way handshake, four-way handshake, or the DNS. All these things, you will only learn it in the true sense if you have started that learning within cybersecurity. The other learning which you might have in college or your basic understanding is not that deep.
Hmm.
So
Agree.
we need to be in the field to know its importance. We might have learned TCP/IP protocol or what is the OSI model. All these things we might have learned in our college,
Hmm.
but sadly, our college learning is just to clear those papers.
So we say
It
in
doesn't
simple
go
term that
deep.
college teach you what and industry talk about how.
Exactly. So there is a lot of gap between our formal education and what actually we need to do in a
Hmm.
job. So through Udemy, that initial course, 3, 4 courses which I did was fully basic
Example.
cybersecurity understanding. So CIA triad or this DNS networking concepts, basic networking concepts, Windows basics, Linux basics, or some understanding about this offensive side as well.
Hmm.
So at that time, I hadn't decided that I will be a security analyst or in the defensive side. It was a just getting to know stuff, right? So I explored both the offensive side as well as the defensive side. So
Hmm.
I have done TCM security courses,
Hmm.
lot of other learning as well. Try Hack Me
Hmm.
platform that has
Hmm.
helped me a lot to
Hmm.
gain a practical understanding where you
Hmm.
do go and do labs. So all the practical stuff.
But Anand, here I want to interrupt. Like as you said about Windows, or you learn about things and all that. Do you recommend any name of the videos of Udemy? Because see, this channel is a non-profitable channel. We are okay to promote someone who deserve to get better, right? As you know, I'm also running a firm. I'm also into training and consulting. But the purpose of creating this channel is to give the free, uh, non-profitable things or which can create some value. So when you said you learn Windows, you said Linux, you learn cyber, what exactly those content? Can you just share on this area? The reason of I'm asking this is the bottleneck of every fresher who basically gets stuck. He don't know how to start. See,
Exactly.
I will create a video, you will make a career in SOC. You can make a video how to make a career in SOC. But the question is, what is exactly we need to learn in SOC? What is the
Exactly.
sequence of the SOC? What should be learned? What should be ignored? So, do you share your 5 minutes on that area? Because can be the turning point of this podcast too.
100%. That is even interesting to me as well. How to, I mean, even I do that on a day-to-day basis in my LinkedIn. So a
Mm,
lot of students reach out to me to with the same question: how
mm,
they can get started in cybersecurity. They
mm,
are actually confused with a lot of advice online.
mm,
So they might prefer to get direct input from a professional in the field. And
mm,
I have also done the same way what they have done. Even though made it a bit late to come into the field, I also started as a pure fresher in this field. I started as an intern,
mm,
cybersecurity or the SOC intern.
mm,
So that sequence for a student, right? How they can enter. What I would suggest is like from the college time itself, they can be actually active on LinkedIn because our LinkedIn cybersecurity community is absolutely fantastic. Even not within India, but I have made a lot of connections in US, UK, or Canada, Australia, Singapore. All these places are great for cybersecurity as well. So we can connect both with professionals in India as well as outside India, and that will give you a good leeway or a understanding into what is actually happening in the domain. Otherwise, you will be in a movie mode. In these movies,
mm.
they show a different a view of cybersecurity, which is actually very far from the truth.
Connection
They
matters.
just make it a flashy thing, which
Mm.
actually is, uh, misleading many of them. They just want to hack, but hacking is just one part of cybersecurity. There are a lot of other things, like what we tell the SOC or the GRCs. There we have a lot of other stuff like offensive, defensive thing, malware analysis, reverse engineering. A lot of things are there, but primarily when they hear from outside, it is just hacking. So hacking is a great thing, but it should be done for the right purposes, not like in what is shown in the movies. It's called ethical hacking. So one thing is they can be active in LinkedIn to know how the industry uh, is proceeding.
No, no,
What
no.
is
I'm talking about the sequence of the content. Like as you said
the
about the
content?
Udemy videos and all that. Okay, I understood. Connection is there, LinkedIn connection is there, but
Hmm.
without having a knowledge, there's no point of connecting a connection. So my question is the sequence of the learning
Got it.
in terms of
Yeah,
technical. Yeah.
sure. So you actually want like a video which I
Yeah.
will.
So example, like if I say like in SOC, if we first I explore this
Hmm.
video to learn about
Sure,
cyber
sure.
basics, and then I learn Windows and all that. Yeah.
Definitely, because even I can answer that because we have created a curriculum for our interns. We have SOC
Okay.
interns within our company, where when we actually give all these basic courses, which has helped me and which has come out after I started my career.
Okay.
So, in Udemy, that course which I did in the initial part, it is still available there. It is called, I think, introduction introduction to cybersecurity, something like
Hmm.
that. It is done by Alexander Oni. Okay,
Hmm.
that is
Hmm.
the content creator. He
Hmm.
is a cybersecurity expert, and he has done, uh, I think, 3 to 4 videos, which is cybersecurity fundamentals. Okay,
Hmm.
that content was really good.
Hmm.
So, what I would suggest is, uh, the who are the students who are starting with those courses, they need to take detailed notes
Hmm.
of whatever content, each and every content which is mentioned there, and that content will help them in their future, like if they want to take interview, like be part of interviews, or further in their career as well. If they are doubtful about some basic concepts, they can come back and refer those notes. So one is that cybersecurity fundamentals or that introduction to cybersecurity course by Alexander Oni, which I think is still available and is
Yeah.
also cheap. 3 to 4 videos are available.
Hmm.
Then there is Cisco cybersecurity fundamentals course.
Hmm.
Okay, that is also very useful. I can share you all the links which I'm mentioning after this recording. That you can even put that in your channel.
Hmm.
Cisco cybersecurity fundamentals is there. Then there
It is
is
actually from Cisco Academy, Network Academy, something. No? It's free.
exactly
It's
Cisco
free, right?
networking.
I believe it's free.
Yeah, even I had done that in the initial part of my career, but they have even revamped it and made it much better now.
Hmm.
So Cisco cybersecurity fundamentals and Cisco networking fundamentals is there. That is
Hmm.
also very useful because without networking, you won't be a good cybersecurity professional. You need to
Agree.
know what are the ports, protocols, or what is the basic concepts like three-way handshake, four-way handshake, what is SSL, what is TLS, what are the ports and protocols. All these things are very important as a
Agree.
cybersecurity professional. And then another thing which you need is Linux. Linux learning is absolutely essential for a
Hmm.
cybersecurity professional. For that, one of the courses which I can suggest is TCM Security
Hmm.
has a good course like
Cyber
Linux
Mentor.
100, I think,
Hmm.
100. That one is also equally good. It actually helps you to spin up your own virtual machine and do all the stuff rather than just being a video related course where it is just theory. It's not like that.
Hmm.
It's a fully practical course where you can actually spin up a virtual machine and do the stuff, all the commands. And even Windows basics are also absolutely required. For
Hmm.
that, you can use multiple platforms like Pluralsight is a good platform. You can
Hmm.
even have Udemy courses, but Windows basics is equally important. So
Hmm.
these are like the founding pillars in cybersecurity, if you ask me.
So once you get this understanding, like TCM security, Cisco network, and all that, what is next?
Yeah, so now you have the basics in cybersecurity sorted, like you are aware of
Yeah.
the concepts, all these things.
Hmm.
Now it's just time for you to go to a particular stream within
Hmm.
cybersecurity, what you need to choose.
How you
Like,
decided? How you decided?
yeah. So my case was that uh, tried both, as I mentioned. Like I tried offensive, defensive. But as I
Hmm.
mentioned, I mean, many people will go to that hacking mode, that breaking stuff. But I more the thing which more connected with me was that helping part within the defensive. Like being a
Hmm.
I fully learned how a SOC works. So I got to know that we are the face of customers to the customers. Like it is called managed security service provider, right?
MSSP and all that. Yeah.
Where a SOC is one of the major service which we provide. It's a 24/7 service, and we need to constantly be in communication with the customers. We are basically securing their environment,
Hmm.
and we have a direct responsibility in that case. So it appealed to be more appeal more to me, like because we are defending their environment and we are actually helping them improve their security posture.
Hmm.
So and I tried in that perspective, like if I can get into SOC, and that is how one of the opportunities came to me. Like it was an internship in one of the companies.
How you
uh,
got that? That's my next question. Because if you compare now 10 years back, things got changed. The hype has been created. There is a shortage of cybersecurity. More and more people are coming to cyber. So how you got the first internship?
Yeah, I should entirely thank LinkedIn for that because
Good.
I was fully active in LinkedIn because I didn't have much contacts within this field. If you ask me,
Good.
like uh, I have just one or two friends in this field, and they have definitely helped me in this.
Hmm.
But to expand my network, I really used LinkedIn, as I mentioned, and
So what kind
I
of a content you sharing on LinkedIn?
yeah, so I started writing on my learning, like what
Excellent.
uh, certifications I have done, but not just putting that certification poster there and just showing I have done
Thanks
it.
to all
But
my
I will
today I clear
write,
CSSP.
I will write what I have learned out of it. What is the key takeaways out of this?
Hmm.
That will give some value to whoever is reading it, right? Instead of just
Excellent.
showing that I have done this, what are your takeaways? What you learned out of this, and how this will help you.
Hmm.
That way, I used to regularly post content
And
based on
any
my
any
learning.
other contents you post, because might be this is useful for the people who listening to this podcast or watching this podcast. What kind of a content they should create? Okay, certification is one of the things. Okay, I complete the Udemy, I complete Cisco Network Academy. Fine. You cannot post every day the same certification. Apart from that, what are the contents you use to post on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so mainly it was my learning, not only just certifications, but the courses which I did.
Hmm.
Then what I did was I started a blog after some point of
Okay.
time that
Hmm.
I gained some understanding,
Hmm.
and I felt that this is a good way to document stuffs also, not only just to uh, give the content to others. You can also refer back the blog, what you have done, what you have learned.
Hmm.
I saw in many people doing the same thing within
Hmm.
cybersecurity. They are
Hmm.
doing it for their learning. So I felt that blog thing will be really good for me. I started a blog, and it is still there. I still actually sharing content in that blog, and that was more into a detail. So I started with I did a AZ 900, which is a Azure Fundamentals course.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or not a course, it's a certification. So once I completed that certification, I did an entire review of the exam as well as how I prepared for it, all those stuff.
And this is before
Like,
before getting first job.
no, I that was around the time I got. It
Okay.
was
So,
around the time. It was not before.
but how you got
Yeah.
the first internship?
So the first internship was entirely based on my writing and being visible on LinkedIn, and I improved my network within LinkedIn. So one of the LinkedIn friends, which have not even seen him is till now, he tagged me in one of the LinkedIn posts, which was a call for a internship in one of the companies in Trivandrum.
Hmm. Okay.
It absolutely struck me that he hasn't even seen me, but somehow he felt that I'm trying really
Capable for
hard
this.
to
You
get into
capable for
this
this
field.
also.
Yeah, so like I tried for that internship. It was an unpaid internship, but
Hmm.
even they didn't take money from us. Some companies even do that. They even take money from employees
Hmm.
or the candidates to do the internship. But this was an unpaid internship, but that converted into a regular job after 4 months.
And do you had an interview for the internship?
Yeah, there was an interview, but it
Oh,
was more into basics because it's an
okay.
internship, and it was a SOC opportunity.
Hmm.
They asked cybersecurity basics questions, and the notes which I had prepared till now was really
Useful.
large. Yeah, I had done a lot of note taking
Hmm.
from whatever videos I had done, and I referred those content entirely. The notes which I prepared for my interviews.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm dig dive into that particular topic.
Sure, sure.
When you basically face the first interview, okay, what is the advice you want to give to fresher? Okay, that things you should not do or things you should do.
Okay. So yeah, even I take a lot of interviews as of now for freshers
Hmm.
or experienced people as well
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
SOC.
Hmm.
So even if you have seen my post on the mistakes which are seen in the SOC interviews. So one thing which I've noticed is they will come with a prepared script. I mean, start with all the stuffs. I mean, I've done this, I've done that, and will go on like this. You should actually pause and try to make a good communication with your interviewer, smile,
Hmm.
and some
Hmm.
soft skills will come into play. I mean, you should actually you I know I understand that people will be nervous in interviews because
Hmm.
especially as a fresher, it might be your first interview.
Hmm.
Definitely it might be nervous for you, but the trick is not showing that nervousness. So nervousness will definitely be there, but you should somehow try to hide it. Maybe we fidget a lot, we move a lot, all these things. You try to control it. Maybe have some deep breath before the interview, some meditation, a basic meditation, which will help you to control your thoughts.
And
All those things
focus.
will be helpful. Keep in focus and just focus on the cybersecurity part. If you are a fresher, what you have done with regards to cybersecurity. Even if you are a fresher, you can do a lot of things with regards to personal projects or the certifications you have done, the courses you have done, maybe some labs you have done in your own environment, in your personal machine. Lots of opportunities are there. Even TryHackMe will help you.
Hmm.
You need not set up your own lab, but also actually there are labs out there which is already provided by TryHackMe. You can just mention all those things and try to convince the interviewer that you have done your homework rather than just mentioning about a course which you have done in an institute. I mean, that institute might be really famous. I mean, I'm not what to say criticizing the institutes here. There are a lot of good institutes as well. But what I'm mentioning is how what you take out of those institutes. Like you join an institute not just for that certificate. You should actually get the real learning. Do your own work as well, like by personal learning, all this doing labs. So try to convince the interviewer that you actually know stuff, like you are working out on your stuffs, as well as be strong in the basics, because all
Agree.
these courses will really help you. Because even what I have seen in SOC, or basically within cybersecurity, is many people have come a lot in their career, but even they still lack basics knowledge.
Agree.
That is a very sad part. But if you are strong in those basics right in the beginning of your career, then it will become much easier for you when you go ahead, because those things will come into play in your day-to-day work very frequently. You will be faced with some questions where you need to dig down into some problems, where some cybersecurity incident. Now you need to have that basics to proceed further. For example, uh, an outbound connection going to a suspicious country, or an unexpected country, you need to know whether you need to look at the source port or the target port.
Hmm.
Source port is a random port. Target port defines a service. Is it a 443 connection, or is it a DNS connection? Those basic concepts will definitely help you further in your investigation. So be strong in your basics, and maybe do some mock interviews. There are even people helping in LinkedIn to schedule some time with them to do mock interviews. And get to know what is the community and what is the real work is, and then you will be better prepared for the interview.
Okay. And when you got the first internship and that internship convert into job, what are the parameters you did there that okay that company was very happy and they convert that intern into the job. So what is your recommendation in that case?
So you're mentioning
You got the
what
job
we
in the
need to
same
do from
company,
outside.
you got the same
Yes,
job, internship to job, you got permanent job, right?
yes.
So what exactly you did in that internship, because if we have 100 interns, it's not possible 100 interns will get 100 jobs. They get shortlisted from the interns and they get uh, they release a letter. So what was exactly you did in that internship to get your first job?
Yeah. So by the time I joined that company, right, I had made sure that I am strong with the basics, and like I had worked a bit on my soft skills, because
Hmm.
in cybersecurity it's not just about being
Technical skill.
technically good.
You need to be
You need
smart.
to communicate your findings as well. You need to
Yeah.
communicate to the customers, especially in a SOC perspective. You need to be good in communication.
Yeah. First of all, you're
So
dealing with negative incidents and you have to explain in a positive manner.
yeah,
Oh wow,
because
your
I
system
don't
got
think
crashed.
exactly. I don't think in a lot of other fields we need to communicate in as simple terms as in cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is a relatable field
Hmm.
to even common man. If they are impacted, they are impacted. So even we need to explain things in a simple terms to customers. What
Hmm.
happened? What was done to remediate that incident? So I tried my best to show that visibility, that I can do it. I can communicate with the customers. I can meet the SLA time periods, like
Hmm.
to resolve an incident within the time period,
Hmm.
and that will definitely be noticed, right? If you have that enthusiasm and try your best to
Hmm.
meet that standards, that helped me actually.
But Anand, in 2025 era, do you think still the same practice is possible to get the first internship the way you got in by LinkedIn?
Yeah, because even as of now, also, like directly getting into L1 role is a bit of a task. It's a bit difficult, but
Hmm.
it's not impossible. It's possible. Many of the companies do take in freshers as L1 analysts,
Hmm.
but cybersecurity is not fully a entry level job.
Hmm.
Most of them like at least expect some experience within IT to come into
Hmm. But
cybersecurity.
you're not from IT, right? Well, you have experience software engineering.
Yeah, I was into IT. The ERP stuff is actually IT,
Yeah.
so which I've done earlier before
Hmm.
my civil service stint. I was into IT,
Hmm.
but even known since I started as an intern, it was not much of an issue for me. Even if
Hmm.
I didn't have a IT past, also that wouldn't have been an issue. My determination was mainly based on my performance in an interview,
Hmm.
but if you directly want to land in a L1 role, um, it's good that if you have some IT experience, maybe in a software development or in maybe a help desk role, something like that, will definitely help you to get into that direct job. Otherwise, the best option is internship. Even now, also there are many companies which provide internship actually.
Okay.
In my companies earlier or current companies also, we actually actively take interns, train them, and based on their performance, we convert them into regular employees.
So Anand, following to this question is, when you working as a recruiter, when you working as a hiring manager, what exactly you see in the CV? Because you receive CV, right? You
Right.
receive the applications and all that. So what are the things you look into the CV? The reason of asking this question is because today, if you're talking about the freshers who are applying for jobs and all that, their CV is their presentation, their CV is their profile. So what do you think? What should be included in the CV?
Yeah. So if you are into interested in cybersecurity, right? Same thing like which I mentioned
Hmm.
while you explaining in an interview. Try to showcase your current profile within cybersecurity, what you have done in
I don't have.
cybersecurity.
I don't have.
Sorry,
I don't have an experience.
not experience I'm telling, but
Okay.
the portfolio which you have created for yourself through the labs or through the learning which you have done, the certifications you
Hmm.
have done, that doesn't need any experience. It you can
Hmm.
do on your own. Even there
Hmm.
are kind of very cheap certifications out there which
Hmm.
doesn't cost a lot. But
Hmm.
I'm not much into certification like promoting high cost certifications. That's not a
Hmm.
major thing for me. But the courses, there are a lot of free courses available still. I mean,
Or you mean to say
that,
GitHub projects also we can
sorry.
mention? What are the GitHub projects we did, we listed?
Exactly, yeah,
We can show that.
definitely. What you
Hmm.
have done, because nowadays many of the people who are coming to cybersecurity are doing even the graduation and majors within cybersecurity and coming. There are a lot of even BSc cybersecurity courses are there.
Hmm.
There is a lot of graduation and post graduation possibilities.
Hmm.
There is this DFIR, the digital forensics
Yeah.
courses are there within the
Hmm. Hmm.
graduation. So all these options are there. So definitely they will have done a project right in cybersecurity, what they have done, so they can showcase that. They can show their learning till now through practical labs or through the um, um, theory learning what you have done.
Hmm.
That will be good, and try to limit the, like other kinds of stuff which is not related to cybersecurity, which is entirely
Hmm.
different thing. You can include, but make more of it like a cybersecurity resume.
Yeah. Like example, my hobbies are cooking, listening to music, mentioning about what I spark about myself, and including the non-technical things too much in the CV,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
It's in a way like you can include one or two to just show your personality wise. That is fine, but
Hmm.
try to make it more suited for a cybersecurity
So
job.
if you talk about this resume content, if you okay, start with the background overview, then your uh, so what should be the content structure? Do you have any recommendation?
Yeah, so ATS, there is a format called ATS format, which is
Hmm.
actually a simplistic format without too much graphics or anything
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
That actually will help to for your resume to proceed further. I mean, because nowadays many of the companies use this ATS format.
Hmm.
They will use online softwares to
Hmm.
process the resumes, right? So ATS format is a very basic format. It doesn't have much complication or much graphics, or you need not put your photos, all this stuff.
Hmm.
I see different kinds of resumes with all these graphics coming in. That is not the main thing. The content is your main thing. What you
Content is a
have
king.
written within that. So it will start with if you're a fresher, it will be more into your education, what
Hmm.
graduation you have done, and what the some instances of leadership which you have shown, some and the technical wise also what you have done within
Hmm.
cybersecurity. Or
Hmm.
if you are not fully into cybersecurity, you can still show what project you have actually done. It
Hmm.
might be a different project, but what was your contribution towards that?
Hmm.
Okay, show your visibility into actually achieving something within your college career or your some leadership abilities. All these things will come into play in an interview. Actually, will help you.
Okay. And okay, so I learn about the basics and all that, and at what stage I need to learn Wireshark, at what stage I need to learn SIEM, which is whether Splunk or whether you and all that. Do
Okay.
I need to get, like, before getting a job, do I need to have an understanding of this, or most of the cases they get this access and visibility after getting a first job?
In my case, if you ask me, I had a idea about all this because
Hmm.
since I was interested in SOC, I started researching on SOC, right? Like,
Hmm.
what is a SIM tool? What is a SOC? What is an EDR? What is Wireshark? I mean,
Hmm.
not deep into it, but basics, and even you can install the tools and just try it out. It's not a big thing, right?
Hmm.
These are free tools.
Hmm.
For SIM, you can actually set up a Splunk.
Hmm.
Splunk will give you
Free logs and all
at
that.
least 60 days of premium also content, premium installation, I think. And after that, it will become a free version, but still you can use it for lifetime. You
Hmm.
can install it in your machine and actually onboard some log sources into that and see exactly how it works. And so in my case, since I wanted SOC, I actually did my learning. I prepared myself to know what is the main technologies used within SOC,
Hmm.
what is the day-to-day activities of a SOC analyst. All these things I had done my preparation. So definitely it will help you to do your homework to know what you will be doing in in a job which you are trying.
So, Anand, my question is, what in a day, like, day in a life of SOC analyst? Because now we are moving on a technical level, and I really need to understand about your viewpoint of practically a day in a life of a SOC analyst.
Sure. Yeah. So the SOC analyst, basically, the main task of a SOC analyst is SOC monitoring or alert monitoring, we tell it.
Hmm.
And the main tool which we use for alert monitoring is SIEM, or Security Information Event Management. There is a
Hmm.
SIM. There are different SIM tools like Splunk. There is QRadar. There is Google SecOps, Microsoft Sentinel. All these are different SIM tools which are available out there. So it's a central pane of glass wherein you collect logs from different log sources. Like you have the firewall, the routers, switches, the different endpoints in your devices, the servers. All these are the different log sources, and you collect all those logs and centrally store it in this tool, wherein you will do the parsing, the enrichment, the alert generation, all these things. And it will help you to monitor in a central manner rather than going to all these different log sources and doing your monitoring. That's why it's called central pane of glass. So if you tell in a real life perspective, for guys who are new to this field, easier to understand, like you can think about students joining a school, right? So when students are joining school, they might be from different parts of the country, from different ethnicity, all these things. But they all, each of them are given a uniform when they join school, right? So that they can be identified as students of that school. So similarly, in an SIEM or a SIM tool, we have this thing called parsing.
Hmm.
Okay, so parsing is basically to convert the logs which are coming from these different log sources to a centralized model, which will be easily understood by the SIM tool, right?
Okay.
Because the logs coming from different log sources will look different. For example, the firewall logs will be entirely different from a router log, or a Windows logs will be entirely different from a Linux machine log, right? It will look all different. So
Hmm.
it should look in a similar format for the SIEM to understand. So that is called parsing. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, along with parsing, I mean, in a real life scenario, after the students join the school and they're given a uniform, they will be placed into different classes, right? Different classes. Similarly, we have this thing called indexing
Hmm.
within the SIM tool for classifying these firewall logs will be put into the firewall index.
Hmm.
Similarly, the Windows logs will be put into the Windows index. Linux will have its own index. Just classifying and dividing those logs into different indices.
Hmm.
Okay. And once this is done, then there are further processes like enrichment. For example, you are getting a firewall log, which has a login from a particular country, which will have an IP. That IP will be connected to a country, right? That user might have logged in from a specific country. So this enrichment will help the SIM tool to understand what that country is related to. I mean, which is a country for that IP. like if they are logging in from US or they are logging in from Australia, that enrichment will help them. Just telling an example, there are similarly different kinds of enrichment possible to help the analyst understand better what is actually happening. So enrichment will do that. And then once all the parsing, the indexing, enrichment, all these things are done, all the logs are stored in the tool. Now we create rules, okay, to understand or to get triggered when it matters. So suppose a security incident happens, you need to have the alert trigger. Otherwise, you will not be in a better state to respond. So that is a basic thing in a sim tool. You create rules, and it will, and you set a frequency for this rule to trigger, and that triggering part is called alerts. Okay. Now, an example of an alert which I can mention is login from an unexpected country. Suppose you are normally, suppose you are in India, okay, and your user is seen to have a login from Australia.
Australia, suspicious login,
That
definitely.
is suspicious because you are stationed in basically in India, right? There are 2-3 possibilities for what is actually happening. One is that you might have traveled to Australia. Another thing is you might have
Use
used a
VPN, yeah.
VPN, which is actually changing your IP to an Australian IP of the VPN provider based in Australia. So that is the next possibility. And another possibility is the dreaded possibility, which is that your account is compromised. That is why you are seeing login from a unexpected country, from an unexpected IP. So that is where the concept of true positive and false positive comes in. Like true positive is when it's actually a compromise or actually a security incident. Here, the true positive is that your account is compromised. The false positive is that you have traveled to that country, so it is expected, or you are using an VPN, so it is expected to see a login from Australia. And this is the main role of a SOC analyst to monitor those alerts. And we have SLAs. So each alert will have a priority setting, like critical, high, medium, low, based on different factors, which are discussed with the clients as well. From an MSSP standpoint, we will have a list of their assets, their important users. So like CISO or C-level executive users, right? They will have a elevated level of monitoring. They should their users, those users are more important. So if any users who are part of the C-level is part of any incident that requires higher monitoring. So we will classify such alerts coming from those users as critical alerts. I'm just telling an example. Similarly, there are critical assets, which is actually maybe a e-commerce website, and a web server which is hosting that e-commerce website is absolutely crucial. It shouldn't be having any security related incident. So if any incident or any alert or a suspicious login coming to that particular web server, that is absolutely critical. We need to have a high elevated monitoring for that. So each SLA will have its own response timeline. So if it is a critical alert, we will maybe have it's basically discuss with the customer what is our SLA. So it can vary from 15 to 30 minutes for a critical alert. Okay. If it is a high alert, it can be 1 hour. It's a medium alert, 4 hours, and a low priority alert can be 8 hours or even 24 hours. It depends on companies to companies how we classify that priority and SLA timelines. And apart from that, all these alert monitoring, there are a lot of other possibilities in a SOC. I mean, in many companies, they consider SOC as just alert monitoring. But
it's not true.
That is the most important part, definitely. But that is just one part. There are a lot of other things which we can do, like threat hunting is there, threat intel. We have the health checks. Health checks are basically done to make sure that we are getting the logs at the right time from all these log sources. For example, if a security incident happened and you don't have the logs from that log source, for example, the firewall was compromised, you are not getting logs from firewall. It's a huge problem, right? Because you are not alerted that something has happened because the logs didn't come in the right time. So health check is absolutely crucial. And as I mentioned, this threat hunting or threat intel. So threat hunting, if you ask me what is threat hunting, threat hunting is basically to uncover areas which are not covered by the alerts. Okay, alerts is an automated thing wherein we create rules to get triggered at the right time when this thing happens. But you can't create rules for everything. some things might be missed. So for that, you do threat hunting. You search within the SIM tool if there is something bad happening based on some patterns which you have. Like for example, a ransomware. You create a hypothesis of this. Suppose this kind of attack is happening in your company. What you will go and check. So if a ransomware is happening, are you seeing files getting encrypted in a random fashion, or are you seeing data getting stolen, or you are seeing a high outbound uh, traffic seeing in your environment? All these things, you will create a hypothesis and then you go and hunt those patterns. That is threat hunting. Then threat intelligence is also kind of connected to threat hunting, wherein you refer the online world, all this research is happening, or if you have your own threat intel team, you can actually do yourself the real research, like going to open web or deep web, dark web, all these things, and seeing whether any of your clients or even your own company's accounts have been leaked in the dark web. That is one way of doing the threat intel. Or even in the open web also, if some of the log sources which you are using is having a critical vulnerability, then through threat intel you will have that idea and you immediately have to go and patch it. Okay. Or there are different such ways, like to collect threat intel online, either through your own team, or there are different wonderful teams available all over the world which disseminate information on a time to time basis, and you can actually use those information to secure your environment. Yeah, so these are some of the different responsibilities of a SOC analyst.
Okay. And is it mandatory, like, okay, the person who joined the SOC, he directly get into threat hunting and all that? Or when, if I talk about, let's say example, I'm a fresher, I got a job, I'm a L1. So how the L1 life look like in a day? Like when he
Yes.
joined the company, normally what happened, if you talk about my perspective project, so first day we have a project discussion and next day we have to do risk assessment and all that. So our days are basically change depending upon the task and all that. So if I talk about day in a life of SOC analyst, how exactly, okay, I understood we have a things in SOC, but how the day start of a SOC analyst?
Yeah, so basically, if it is an L1 SOC analyst, right, it will be more into the alert monitoring, the SOC
Only
monitoring. Yeah,
every entire
more,
day.
not, yeah, most of the time it will be alert monitoring, because first you need to know what are the alerts, right? And in most of the SOCs, it won't be one or two or 10 alerts, it will be hundreds of alerts. So major time will be spent in learning what are those alerts are, and what recommendations or what kind of analysis you need to do, because there will be templates which are available, which have been done by your seniors or your co-workers. So you learn from it and you even provide your inputs and make those analysis better over time. So a major part of your initial days will definitely be spent in alert monitoring,
Then
because it's a most important part within SOC. But you will definitely have more responsibilities, like all these things which I mentioned. The health check will be mostly done in a specific time of the day, maybe 2 or 3 times you need to do, so to make sure that you are getting the right logs. And over time, if you are interested, you can even contribute to writing the rules yourself. After you gain some good understanding, you can actually contribute to writing the rules. That is a area called SIM engineering.
okay,
For
it's a
detection.
completely different profile. It's a completely different profile.
It's not, you can't tell it is completely different from SOC. You are actually kind of very much connected to a SOC if you are a SIM engineer, because a good SOC analyst can always
Be a
become a
good
great
detection engineer.
SIM detection engineer, because you need to know the real attacks in order to write the rules which will actually trigger when it matters the most. So it is a very connected field, but it's actually a different field altogether, the SIM engineering or the detection engineering. Yeah, and the
And
threat hunting.
can we have a one dedicated podcast on detection engineering, because now that basically little fascinated me to discuss more on that area. I wish I can do this. I can speak to you for next 2 more hours, but I don't want to disturb you further. But can we have a, and those who watching this podcast, do let us know in a comment box. Can we have a dedicated podcast on the detection engineering, because there were very few contents are there on the detection. So Anand, if you're okay with that, we will have a one dedicated session on that also, because that is also one of my favorite topic.
Definitely, yeah. I have been involved in all these areas, so I can give my experience and feedback on how it can be done. Yeah.
So it's like a warning on the camera right now. Normally, we have a gunpoint and all that. So we say, okay, we are looking forward for the, having another session with Anand, and definitely he will not say no to this.
No issues at all.
Yeah. Okay. So detection engineering is there. Like, and how fast the person can move from L1 to L2, then L2 to L3? What exactly the things? Yeah.
So actually, it's a bit of a fine line, because the thing is L1, L2 thing, it depends on companies to companies. Even when
Hmm.
I've taken interviews also, I have seen environments wherein L1s are doing L2 tasks, or
Okay.
L2s are doing L3 tasks. So it is, and in my companies where I have worked mostly, it was, and I have worked mostly in startups, which has
Hmm.
actually helped me a lot to
Hmm.
actually get involved in most of these areas. In
Hmm.
corporate or big companies, right? You will have the learning, but the thing is, it will take time, because there will be separate teams for each activities, and
Hmm.
you will it will take more time for you to reach that next team and start learning their stuff. It is a more siloed environment, but in startups, it is more of that learning stuff, right? You will have more responsibilities and you can scale up more. So um, L1 and L2 thing, like it is more based on your experience. Like L1 will be more focused on the alert monitoring stuff. Once you become an L2, you will start understanding more of their log sources, what are their the customer standpoint. You can, it depends on how much hard work you put also. Even an L1 guy can do more stuff. Okay, it is, if it is not strictly siloed, like I mentioned. But uh, doing the threat hunting part, right? Those stuff will take more time, because you need to develop a deeper understanding into the log sources, the kind of attacks. That is a very major thing. Many people which in the field, which I have seen doing mistakes, that they don't read the real attacks, and even if they read the attacks, they are not clear about what actually is happening there. You shouldn't read from a layman's perspective when you are reading a cyber attack as a cybersecurity professional. For example, if you are reading a ransomware, you need to know what was the initial access for the ransomware. Did it come through a phishing mail, or
Hmm.
was it a drive-by download, like an accidental download from a user click? And then once the ransomware came, what was the activities? Ransomware differs from one strain to another strain of ransomware. They can not only just encrypt your files, but they can steal your data. You can put on dark web, or you can modify your files. You can delete the backups, all these things. So you need to read it from the perspective of a cybersecurity professional or a SOC professional, using which you can actually secure your enterprise or your customers that
Hmm.
way. So that will develop over time. Once you have delved a lot into the log sources and see the raw logs instead of just relying on the alerts, going through the real logs and trying to understand, doing some of those threat hunting by your comparing your learning from the real attacks, right? So this ransomware is seen in this country, and
Hmm.
my company is also located in that country, and this is a
Hmm.
nearby location. Or you can say this is a hospitality related attack, like that
Hmm.
attacker attacked a hospitality related industry, and my company is also in the hospitality industry, so there is chance for this attack coming to my company. That way you correlate and you do those threat hunting. It will improve your learning over time, and it will help you to move up the ranks quickly,
Hmm.
like L2, L3, or even further roles, or even move to the other areas as well. Like there are companies where you have dedicated threat hunting or dedicated detection engineering, all these stuff. So in SOC, the best part is you will get to learn all of these things, because it's a central area
Hmm.
where you need to actually communicate with all these teams.
Okay. That's a great insight, Anand. That's a really great insight. And before we wind up this particular session, what is your advice for the freshers?
Is it a general advice to
General
get
advice, yeah, matlab,
cybersecurity?
yeah, anything, matlab, your wisdom, your experience, what you gain in 10 years, 12 years. What do you want to convey in a 5 minutes or 2 minutes summary?
Okay,
Who
so
who are who are looking for a job and they're unable to crack the interview, they don't getting a job calls, they're applying a lot of jobs and all that. So what is the message you want to convey?
Yeah, so what I want to mention is maybe the strategies which you are trying might not be working the right way. Like
Hmm.
if you are keep doing the same thing for a long period, it won't happen, right? You need to
Hmm.
keep refining your strategy. For example, we have the LinkedIn and the students. I mean, I have a lot of students in my LinkedIn connections who are
Hmm.
actually using it really well.
Hmm.
And by the time they are out of college, they have a great clarity into
Hmm.
what they need to do. That is the
Hmm.
best part, which I didn't have in my when I told right when I passed out. I didn't have that clarity, which
Hmm.
took me some time to get to the right. But eh, even again, LinkedIn helped me to improve that understanding. So what I would suggest is keep learning cybersecurity in the right way by doing practical labs, by doing courses apart from your the major or the graduation which you are doing.
Hmm.
It might be related to cybersecurity, but don't just stick onto that. You do your own research. You do a lot of practical learning as well by doing labs and get to know the real stuff, and then use LinkedIn really well. Try
Hmm.
to connect with people in this field, uh, because that will help you to improve that understanding of the real work what we are doing here. And if possible, even colleges give you internship opportunities in real cybersecurity companies. We have such college interns,
Wow.
so you can leverage that as well, so that you can directly come into a real SOC and see what the professionals are doing. You can leverage all those opportunities and keep reading cybersecurity related news on a day-to-day basis to know what is the real attacks. If you are disconnected from the real attacks,
Hmm.
there is no real value of a SOC analyst without knowing the real attack. So keep reading and understand from a real perspective, not just that flashy news which they tell that this cyber attack happened, lakhs of money lost. We are interested in that stuff, but we are more interested in into the technical stuffs.
Hmm.
What actually happened there? What was the initial access? How did the attacker move in the environment? Did they steal the data or did they encrypt your data? All these things. Keep reading. That will also help you.
Thanks, Anand. Thanks for sharing the great insight on the SOG, and looking forward for the more sessions with you on the other topics like detection engineering. We can have one session on mock interview. I think those who are watching this video, do let me know what you want us to discuss again with Anand on the podcast. And those who are want to connect with Anand, I will share his LinkedIn profile in description box. I believe Anand will have no issues. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to him directly. I personally say that I am the one who follow his content, what he do on LinkedIn, and that inspire me to connect him on this podcast. Thanks, Anand bhai. Thank you for taking a time for this particular session. We are really
Thank you so
grateful
much.
for to have your knowledge, wisdom that you shared on this platform.
Thank you so much, Prabh. It was a great opportunity for me as well. And I hope to connect soon. Similarly, yeah. Thank you so much.
Definitely, definitely. And this is all from our side, team. And if you're new to the channel, do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss the future videos on a similar topic. Good day. Bye.